Tonight, in the name of the people of Tanganyika, I proclaim that our nation is free. From this hour, we govern ourselves, and our future is our own.
Wherever we're gonna die, I don't care. We need our country. We need our country. We need our freedom. We need our freedom in my country. Why are you killing us? We tired of.
I saw what happened in Tanzania. It was very bad. I cried one night, even my wife is a witness. I cannot ever wish that to happen here in Uganda. I want the elections next year to be peaceful and free. We should not shed any blood because of politics.
Kwame Nkrumah's ideas and vision and philosophies becoming more relevant today than before. Many people say that when he started talking to us about self-reliance, about unity, one African nation, the unity of Africans everywhere, not just on the continent, but the whole, what we call the African diaspora, of the global African family. When he started talking to us about these things, many didn't understand it. So people say, often I hear this, oh, Kwame Nkrumah was way ahead of his time. So if 50 years ago, he was ahead of his time, so here we are, then this is the time. Now is the time for us to listen, to hear what he had to say for us. And almost everything he was advising us to do are things we are picking up one by one as Africans. I think Kwame Nkrumah would remain relevant for a long time to come until we achieve those ideas and dreams of independence. A totally free Africa, politically and economically. Philosophy, it's a way of living, it's a way of thinking, it's everything, our whole life. I think it's so important for us today to imbibe and to understand and to practice. It is not a sentimental feeling that, oh, let's just get together and hold hands. It's about saving our economies, protecting the freedom we fought for, the freedom which our fathers and mothers, some of them died for, sacrificed their lives for. It's the only way that Africans can together raise our standard of living. Our father used to say that it's for our economic survival. And I think today, grappling with all the problems our individual countries are going through, our communities are going through, I think, yes, we must take it as the biggest response, the most effective response to our challenges today as African people. So yes, Pan-Africanism is the future, I believe. The future for a prosperous Africa.
All right, welcome back, people. The long time rejected a vision and dream of the great Kwame Nkrumah is what today everyone is discussing about. Today is what is every African is discussing about, and this is the only today that we are feeling like it's a solution to the Africa, because the time that he came out with the vision of African unity, African liberation and independence, many people came to reject, and the people from the West came out to fuel Africans not to accept such thing to happen, because they felt like if African is united, then they are going to be weak. So they had to keep Africa weak through African borders, African split and separate, so that they can keep on controlling, dominating Africa. And that's why today, all that is happening today in Africa, which we are feeling like is destroying Africa, it is happening today. So today, when we come here to speak about this each and every day, we are still working on the long time rejected vision of Kwame Nkrumah, because his agenda was only one: unite Africa, destroy, suspend all these borders so that you can keep Africa one, a freedom, a united and stronger. This today, all that we are having today in different countries of Africa, I don't think we would have been having this, because today we are still separated. Today we are still not loving each other. Today in Africa, today we are still being proud of our own. We are still having that pride that I am a Kenyan, you are someone else is a Ugandan, you are a Tanzanian, you are a Nigerian. So this has brought us a split that today is making Africans to suffer, because African leaders today are still using this as a weapon to punish and destroy Africans, are still using this as a weapon to make sure that they destroy African continent, because they're still believing in border issues, they're still believing in their own countries, they're still believing in tribalism and not supporting one country or supporting one another. Today, we have seen all that has happened in the country of Tanzania. Some people are not coming to engage in. Some people are feeling like it is not their matters. We have seen what has happened between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. People are feeling like this is something that that we don't supposed to come in. But when we come to realize all that is happening and what is supposed to be done, then we must know that all that is happening in any of African countries is anybody's business, because we are one, and this is what we are fighting for, because we are still trying to go back to reflect and to rethink of what Kwame Nkrumah had before. So Nkrumah never feared or was never afraid of the colonization, but he was afraid of neo-colonization, because colonization was loud, clear, and direct. But neo-colonization was in a different way, where came with people who came with it. They came with smile. They came with indirect. It was indirect. It was unclear, and it was softer.
And therefore, when we judge Africa, we must ask ourselves, from whose lens are we judging Africa? When in 1965, the Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah wrote the book Neocolonialism, the Last Stage of Imperialism, and the Most Dangerous, he was right, and he was overthrown for it, because the colonizer left but never left. And if you have any doubt, see what is happening in Niger, in Guinea, in Burkina Faso, in Mali. They are alive.
So through this soft way and this smile, that is when neo-colonization came in. So they came in pretending to help, pretending to support, pretending to build. But inside, they were coming to do nothing of good but to destroy. Through this, they controlled our currency. They controlled our system of governance. They controlled our system of education. They controlled everything that we had. So it was very hard for the Africans to come to realize that they are still being colonized.
Africans are now beginning to realize, Africans of goodwill, that we were shortchanged, that we got the short hand of the stick, that we got the crown without the jewels, that we got an animal that had been disemboweled. And that is the stage at which Africa finds herself, the neo-colonial stage, which is the last stage of imperialism and the most dangerous, because the enslaver turned colonizer turned neo-colonizer now recognizes that the game is up and that their goose is about to be cooked. And they are not just about to leave. They are going to leave wailing and kicking.
And by the time the Africans came to realize that we are still being colonized, then it was already late. Kwame Nkrumah was not earlier, but Africa was already late. That's why by the time he came to push these agendas, to try to awaken African leaders, to try to gather them and tell them that, guys, all that we are doing is not what is supposed to be done. All that we are doing is what other people is structured for us. So we have to go this way so that we can achieve our agenda and try to rebuild our own country, try to rebuild our own continent and protect it from the people, from the intruders who don't have the best interest over it. But the time before people came to understand him, he was assassinated. He was taken down. And which means by the day he was taken down, the dream of African and the vision of the African continent was killed. By the time Nkurumah was taken down, he was not just taken down as Nkurumah, but the entire African dream, the entire African vision, and the millions of hopes lost that day. But again, it never just lost completely. That's why today we are still coming here to speak about all that he was trying to come up with. All that I believe, all that we are watching people coming out to speak about. Whenever you see a African Union summit at its weakness, coming to holding their summits, all that they are discussing about is that they are going back still to the long time vision of Kwame Nkrumah. Whenever they come out to speak about these passports, the African unity, the agendas of Africa, the borderless Africa, the freedom and independence, the resistance of foreign influence, it all started by Kwame Nkrumah. He was afraid of the African future, but not about the colonization, because colonization was already in process, and many people, and it has already caused a lot of damages. So he was only fighting for the new plan that he believed it would have saved African continent. So here today we are, after all those many years past, we are still going back to the long time vision that it once rejected, and Africans who lived those days never saw its importance. The Africans who lived those days never came out to support him, never came out to protect him, which it was easy for the people who were fighting against him to take him down easily. And now today, after all those time, African youths have come to discuss about Kwame Nkrumah. The world is not discussing about him. The African leaders are not discussing about him. But today, the African youths are coming to discuss about him, because all the plan that he had is what we are trying to advocate, what we are trying to champion and fight for to be achieved. We are trying to come and speak about it, because this is the only way we can liberate our own life. Because once we liberate African countries, then it means that we will come to an end of all this crisis, all this chaos that are being done in Africa. When we achieve this agenda, this vision, we will not experience all these massive killings in Africa, all this puppetry in Africa, all these corrupt leaders in Africa, because of the greedy leaders, corrupt and puppetry. That's when we are getting all these problems, our African leaders causing deaths inside Africa. You have seen all that has happened in the country of Tanzania, all that's being done in the country of Uganda, all that has happened in the country of Cameroon, and many other countries today in Nigeria. People are losing life every day because we don't have a united Africa, because we don't have the best leaders who can take the responsibility of protecting their people, because we don't have the people who are fighting for the interest and agendas of the African continent, but only those who have put their interest in front line. So at this time, the people who colonized this great continent, they already saw this vision of the great leaders who lived before, and they tried to figure it out, and they came to realize that if they allow these people to live long and achieve what they were trying to come up with, then they would have lost the dominance and influence in Africa for so long, because their main agenda and aim is to keep Africa in unstable, so that they can continue taking over, they can continue benefiting from the continent. They can continue having the influence, dominance, and power. So all that is happening today, what we are feeling like it's destroying our own continent. There are some people behind this. There are some people who are fueling. There are some people who are pushing and funding it to happen. When you see crisis in the country like Congo, in Sudan, in Rwanda, in many other parts of Africa, in Nigeria, it's all being done happen because there are some people who are behind this, and these people who are behind this are the people who are benefiting from it. So they cannot allow it to end soon because they have not yet done with Africa. So once we achieve the visions, the agendas that was once rejected, and make it and revive it, make it activate it, and make it work, then automatically Africa is going to be great. We are going to have a one Africa. We are going to have the best leaders who will be responsible to protect their people. We will be able to get the leaders who will work towards the vision of the African continent, who will protect their people, but not taking the life of their people. Today we not have any leader who is there to listen to your voice, to understand your problems, to work towards your demands. Today, all the African leaders that we're having who call themselves democratic leaders are only there to achieve their agendas, which brought them to power. Today, the African richness is only benefiting a few group of people who came to benefit themselves and the people who surround them. But they don't care about the people who sent them to the positions. That's why you see, even if we came out to kill ourselves, they don't care. They have nothing to say. They keep quiet. They go missing. We kill ourselves. We go to fight against the police. The police have been given order to shoot us. So we find at the end of the day, we are the one losing. But as African youth, in the spirit that we are working with, I believe that no matter what happens, but liberation must come. No matter what happens, freedom must come. All that is happening and being done by our cruel African leaders, the African politicians, because it's not even valid to call them leaders because they are not. These are just the politicians who came to do business with their people, who are still gambling with the life of their people. Because at this time, you can't tell me that we can't call these leaders. For example, for what all that has happened in the country of Tanzania. Many people, thousands of people being killed just because of one person. Because she's fighting to secure her position as the head of state. Because she's not ready to surrender and maybe to hand over to anybody else. So no matter what you do, if you want to kill yourself, to destroy a country, it is all upon you. Because she has already got what she needed. She's already having what she expected. And now that is the problem that we are having. So whenever we come out to speak, to fight, we always have to remember one thing, that there was a person who fought for this. There was someone who sacrificed his own life. But because the people who lived those days never understood all that he was trying to speak about, that's why today we are still coming here to speak at the same thing, at the same agenda. But we have to do this. We have to do this without any contradiction. We have to do this without any fear. We have to do this knowing that we are trying to achieve the agenda and to take forward the torch that was left by someone, because we cannot call this person a failure. He tried his best. He was not a failure. He tried his best, but at the place that he reached, he believed that the coming generation will come to achieve or to take his vision to the place it was needed to be. That's why today we are here, and we take this as our responsibility to push it every day to make it happen. So, my people, Africa is still our business. Africa is still our agenda. Everything that was planned, that it has to happen. We are the people, we are the generation that was expected that one day it will come to achieve, it will come to take this agenda forward, and it will come to achieve the vision and the dream of African continent. So we are here to protect and fight for the motherland. That's why we are here to say that it's better we die fighting for the great continent because the decision that we are making today will determine the tomorrow's future of African continent. And the entire generation that will come, they will come to find the best continent that we are fighting for today. All the people who will come, once Julius Malema said that we might not be there maybe if Africa will be united, if Africa will work under one army, under one currency, but the people who will be there will celebrate the struggle that was being made today by us, by me, by you, and anyone else. This is the agenda and vision. This is a struggle for each and every black person wherever you are watching from. This is our calling. This is our fight. We better fight or we remain slaves forever. Tell me about the comment section. I appreciate your support. You are doing great for you being here each and every day as we are moving and pushing these agendas forward. I hope that this will not be the end, but this is just the beginning of the struggle. Be blessed and peace out.